Julia, are you having a picnic?
Yes, I'm cooking hot worms and nachos today. I'm getting ready to race my boat later.
Hot worms?
You know, instead of hot dogs, like hot worms. Would you like to try one?
No, maybe some nachos later. How about you tell me about your boat?
My boat is going to win. I built my boat myself. I used a carton of eggs, after I cooked, of course, my empty egg carton, and I know that it's going to float, and it's going to be so fast.
Well, I love it. It's very lovely. Very lovely.
Well, thank you.
It looks like a winner. You know who else is going to race a boat?
Who?
Stuart Little!
Oh, Stuart! I just love Stuart. Awesome. I can't wait to hear about his race. Does his boat look as fabulous as mine?
Well, let's find out. So, students, today I'm going to be reading chapter 6 and 7 from Stuart Little, and we're going to hear about his boat race. Before I forget, I want to tell you about you can do the same thing that Julia does with her boat. You can use empty egg cartons, cereal boxes, empty 2-liter bottles. You can take a variety of materials that Mother might throw away and make your own boat. And you can sail them if you have like a kiddie pool or a bathtub and race with your brothers and sisters. I've put some directions on Seesaw. If you want to get on there, there's a website that gives you 25 different ways to make a sailboat out of household items. So have fun with it. Measure the distance, time it, and you can post your pictures of your sailboat on Seesaw, Facebook, or YouTube.
Oh, I love that idea.
Okay, so let's hear about Stuart. Chapter 6, A Fair Breeze. One morning when the wind was from the west, Stuart put on his sailor suit and his sailor hat, took his spyglass down from the shelf, and set out for a walk full of joy and life and the fear of dogs. With a rolling gait, he sauntered along toward Fifth Avenue, keeping a sharp outlook. Whenever he spied a dog through his glass, Stuart would hurry to the nearest doorman, climb his trousers, and hide in the tails of his uniform. And once, when no doorman was handy, he had to crawl into a yesterday's paper and roll himself up. At the corner of Fifth Avenue, there were several people waiting for the uptown bus, and Stuart joined them. Nobody noticed him because he wasn't tall enough. I'm not tall enough to be noticed, thought Stuart, yet I am tall enough to want to go to 72nd Street. When the bus came into view, all the men waved their canes and briefcases at the driver, and Stuart waved his spyglass. Then, knowing that the step of the bus would be too high, he seized hold of the cuff of a gentleman's pants and was swung aboard without any trouble or inconvenience whatsoever. Stuart rode the bus to Central Park. Remember, he's in New York City. That's a giant park in the middle of New York City. Many people were gathered there for the boat race. To Stuart, the boat seemed enormous, and he hoped he would be able to get aboard one of them and sail away to the far corners of the pond. As he sat cross-legged on the wall that surrounds the pond, gazing out at the ships through his spyglass, Stuart noticed one boat that seemed to him finer and prouder than any other. Her name was Wasp. She was a big black schooner flying the American flag. She had a clipper bow, and on her foredeck was mounted a 3-inch cannon. She's the ship for me, thought Stuart, and the next time she sailed in, he ran over to where she was being turned around.
I wish I had a cannon on my boat.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes, you could shoot down
Bugs.
Things that would bother you, right? Excuse me, sir, said Stuart to the man who was turning her, but are you the owner of the Wasp? I am, replied the man, surprised to be addressed by a mouse in a sailor suit. After talking briefly, the man asked Stuart to race his boat for him. Stuart happily agreed. Would you agree to race someone else's boat?
Absolutely.
You think he's going to get paid for it?
Oh,
Like a job?
I don't know, baby.
Have you ever had a job, Julia?
I've had many jobs. I was a supermodel. I'm a chef. I've done many things in my career.
I'm sure you have. Chapter 7, the sailboat race. When the people in Central Park learned that one of the toy sailboats was being steered by a mouse in a sailor suit, they all came running. Soon the shores of the pond were so crowded that a policeman was sent down to announce that everybody would have to stop pushing. But nobody did. People in New York City like to push each other. The most excited person of all was the boy who owned the Lillian B. Womrath. That's another boat. He was a fat, sulky boy of 12 named Leroy. He wore a blue serge suit and a white necktie stained with orange juice. Do you like orange juice? Do you like orange juice, Julia?
I love orange juice.
Okay, so who do you think's going to win, the Wasp or the Lillian B. Womrath?
I hope the Wasp wins.
Why do you think it's going to win?
Because Stuart's driving.
Oh, of course. I'll be the referee, said the man in the bright green suit. Is the Wasp ready? Ready, sir, shouted Stuart, touching his hat. Is the Lillian B. Womrath ready? asked the referee. Sure, I'm ready, said Leroy. To the north end of the pond and back again, shouted the referee. On your mark, get set, go! Go, cried the people along the shore. Go, cried the owner of the Wasp. Go, yelled the policeman. And away,
Go, Stuart!
And away went the boats for the north end of the pond, while the seagulls wheeled and cried overhead, and the taxicabs tooted and honked from 72nd Street, and the west wind, which had to come halfway across America to get to Central Park, sang and whistled in the rigging and blew spray across the deck, stinging Stuart's cheeks. This is the life for me, Stuart murmured to himself. What a ship! What a day! What a race! So how does Stuart feel right now?
He feels happy. He's on the open sea. He's living life.
He's living life, that's right. Before the two boats had gone many feet, however, an accident happened on shore. What do you think happened, Julia?
Oh, I'm sure one of those people were pushing.
You are so right. That's right, because people were pushing each other harder and harder in their eagerness to see the boats. And although they really didn't mean to, they pushed the policeman so hard they pushed him into the water. He got wet. He was soaked. Now, how do you think the policeman's going to respond?
He is not going to be very happy.
This particular policeman was not only a big, heavy man, but he had just eaten a big, heavy meal, and the wave he made went curling outward, cresting and billowing, upsetting all manner of small craft, and causing every owner of a boat on the pond to scream with delight and consternation. Now, here's a picture. The policeman has fallen into the water, and the boats are capsizing and going every which way. Don't you think that would be funny to see that?
It would be funny.
When Stuart saw the great wave approaching, he jumped for the rigging, but he was too late. Towering above the Wasp like a mountain, the wave came crashing and piling along the deck, caught Stuart up and swept him over the side and into the water where everybody thought he would drown. So now he's in the water. How's he going to get out of the water?
I don't know. That sounds scary.
Stuart had no intention of drowning. He kicked hard with his feet and thrashed hard with his tail, and in a minute or two he got back aboard the schooner, cold and wet but quite unharmed. As he took his place at the helm, he could hear people cheering for him and calling, "Out of mouse, Stuart, out of mouse." Oh, I'm so glad he's all right, aren't you?
Me too. I'm glad that mouse can swim.
He looked over and saw that the wave had capsized the Lillian B. Womrath, but she had righted herself and was sailing on her course close by. And as she stayed close alongside till both boats reached the north end of the pond, here Stuart put the Wasp about, and Leroy turned the Lillian around with his stick, and away the two boats went for the finish line. This race isn't over yet, thought Stuart. Dirty weather ahead, sir, wind backing into the southwest. Never mind the weather, cried the owner. Watch out for the flotsam dead ahead. Stuart peered ahead into the gathering storm, but saw nothing but gray waves and white crests. The world seemed cold and ominous. What do you think ominous means?
Ooh, like it's looming over.
Something that's not good.
Yeah, darkness.
Darkness, that's right. Stuart glanced behind him. There came the sloop, boiling along fast, rolling up a bow wave and gaining steadily. Look out, Stuart! Look where you're going! Stuart strained his eyes, and suddenly, dead ahead in the path of the Wasp, he saw an enormous paper bag on the surface of the pond. Now, how do you think that paper bag got in the pond?
I'm sure someone was littering.
Somebody was littering, and now it's going to cause a giant problem for Stuart. The bag was empty and open like a mouth of a cave. Stuart spun the wheel over, but it was too late. The wasp drove her bow straight into the bag, and with a fearful whoosh, the schooner slowed down and came up into the wind with all the sails flapping. So right now he's trapped inside the bag. What do you think about that?
That was not good. Not good at all.
A collision, shouted the crowd on shore. The wasp couldn't move because of the bag. The Lily and Bee Womrath couldn't move because her nose was stuck in the wasp rigging. Waving his arms, Stuart ran forward and fired off his cannon. Then he heard, above the other voices on shore, the voice of the owner of the wasp yelling directions and telling him what to do. So here's a picture in the book of the two ships that have collided in this bag. Cut away the paper bags, roared the owner. Stuart whipped out his pocket knife and slashed away bravely at the soggy bag until he had the deck cleared. Good thing he had a tool to do that, didn't he?
Absolutely.
The other boat, a loud cheer went up from the bank. The other boat went off in the wrong direction after Stuart had cut away the bag. Stuart's boat crossed the finish line. Stuart brought her alongside the wall and was taken ashore and highly praised for his fine seamanship and daring. Here's the crowd. They're all around Stuart cheering for him. What do you think they're saying to him?
Congratulations, Stuart. Good job, Mouse.
The owner was delighted and said it was the happiest day of his life. He introduced himself to Stuart and said he was Dr. Paul Carey, a surgeon dentist. Do you like going to the dentist, Julia? Do you have teeth?
Oh, I don't mind going to the dentist. I don't have very many cavities.
He said model boats were his hobby and that he'd be delighted to have Stuart take command of his ship anytime. Everybody shook hands with Stuart except the policeman. Why do you think he didn't shake hands with Stuart?
He was still soggy and probably not very happy.
That's right. That is right. When Stuart got home that night, his brother George asked him where he'd been all day. Oh, knocking around town, replied Stuart. So Stuart didn't tell him where he'd really been. Why do you think so?
Oh, that's Stuart. He's like a double agent. He likes to have a secret life.
That's right. That's right. He likes to have some things kept to himself. We all do that, don't we? Sometimes we don't tell our brothers and sisters everything. So, guys, remember you can make your own boats. Look on Seesaw for the website and the directions, and you can post your own pictures, and we look forward to seeing those. And see you next week. Bye.
Yes.